best 60 minutes of your day. Normally the Brian Bulaga Homer Hour. He is on assignment today. So I am watching the Masters yesterday. And I'm thinking, who's going to be the best person to have on? Because Rory McIlroy is not going to be available to this show. And I thought, who is one of the great losers? And Rory McIlroy has been a loser for 11 years. Arguably a Tiger Woods type. No majors for 11 years. Forget this Grand Slam guy. He couldn't win any majors. And he performed one of the great choke jobs in the history of golf yesterday. And then in the end, turned it around and won. The first person I thought of was, he's the new Don Beebe. Don Beebe went to 4 Super Bowls, lost all 4, and he's thinking, I don't know what he's thinking, but we'll find out. Just a loser, not personally, but who wants to be in 4? Nobody has been in. And then he joined the Packers. And just like Rory McIlroy, when he thought there was no chance, he turned it around and is forever a winner and has that ring as Rory McIlroy. All anybody should remember is he now has the green jacket. So, yes, I want to know if Don Beebe was thinking of himself, because I know he was watching Rory McIlroy win, and Don Beebe joins the program. Good evening. How do you like my open?
Well, what a great introduction, Homer. I really appreciate that. Just saying, hey, let's get Don Beebe the loser on the show. That made me feel so good.
I knew it. The loser turned winner. Right? You're in the club.
Oh, well, that's just a cop out now. I mean, you had me as a loser.
I believe I said then turned to winner. Pebble, do we need to replay that?
You did say then turned winner.
Yes. Just like Rory. I mean, I think of you and all the Buffalo Bills. I don't know how many of them remember. One of the great teams ever, and they're not remembered as the greatest team ever, even though go to 4 straight Super Bowls. Clearly, no one's been able to do that. But you had a second, and you got a ring. You're in the club. How great did that feel? Or am I making all this up?
No, obviously for me it was great. I think I was one of 2 guys from the 4 teams that lost in Buffalo, me and Mike Lodish, who won it with the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
So it obviously was a great feeling staying on the field. I've said this many a times. You win a Super Bowl in a Packer jersey, it's iconic. And very fortunate to be a part of that 96 team. And then, but I always say this, that, going to 4 Super Bowls, when you're the only team to do something, okay, it's as history looks back on it, and you even said it yourself, it was a great football team. One of the great football teams really of all time, whether you won it or not. When we went to 4. And I always tell the guys that I coach, winners aren't defined by wins and losses. Winners are defined by your approach to winning and losing, how you always go, carry yourself. And Rory yesterday was a great example of that. He pulled it out. Let's look at the positive thing. And I'm not a big Rory fan, but
you aren't?
I actually am a little bit more today, though, because of the way he handled it and when he walked off the green, after regulation, and if you want to call it that, and he, gave his wife a kiss and his little girl a kiss. I thought, the guy's a family guy, and I'm pulling for this guy to win it. And then he pulls it out. But look at the 4 iron shots at the very end.
I know, they're incredible.
Oh my gosh, that shot on 15 was ridiculous.
Well, no. What about the shot on 13?
Well,
that was so bad.
All the way down to 18.
It was so bad. 18 was bad. I think none of the announcers knew how to say anything. I can tell you, it was a choke. It's too bad Johnny Miller. The definition of a choke is when someone in pressure performs significantly below their norm. I could never choke because I wasn't good enough in the norm to be that much. Anything I did. What?
I've seen you choke.
Okay, maybe in golf. Yeah. But they had no answer. And no one, it's too bad Johnny Miller would have said, that's one of the greatest chokes I've ever seen in my life. He could hit that shot blindfolded. Every pro out there, they didn't know, they couldn't explain how the ball went there.
You know what it did show people, and this, you can go through the history of the Masters, how amazing that golf tournament is.
Yes.
The pressure these guys have to make a 4-foot putt. And look at all the guys just yesterday. The only guy that didn't choke down the stretch was Rosie.
Right, but I want to say on that, I don't think missing those putts or chokes. The greens are incredibly fast, and people miss them all the time. That's the part. Now, Rory has an amazing ability to miss putts maybe a little bit shorter, and he had done that. But I will never, other than I don't know, like Scott Hoke missed one like a foot and a half, but whatever. They're impossible. Have you played there?
I've been there. I've never played it.
Yeah.
But
you know how fast those greens are. It's impossible to explain. And they can often have mounds. So there's, you're uphill or downhill. Everybody misses them all the time. Like Patrick Reed had a 3-putt from 2 feet, or he could have finished high. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just sitting there marveling at, and I told my wife, I was like, this is such entertainment. I mean, it's phenomenal entertainment. And from a pro athlete that has been in those pressure moments in front of big stadiums and big crowds and on TV and all this, you really get a great appreciation for what these guys go through in a situation like that. And just to see when Rory won it, when he just went to his knees, you could just feel the pressure just be lifted from him,
and there's no team to say, awesome. Oh, it's the team. It's not just me, it's the team. No, there's no team, buddy. It's you and you alone. Yes, I think that, and I just think he gets more nervous than people can realize. He said he had trouble eating, and we noticed that he was drinking and eating more during the 18 holes, and I will bet that's right. And then this is why I was so mad at the announcers. Like I don't know what they're thinking. So on 18, he's got a 125-yard hole shot, right? Flat. Yeah. He can do that in his sleep. I mean, that was not as big a choke as the shot on, what was it, 15 or 13?
15. 15. Oh, 15. Yeah. No, wait.
So this was 125 yards in his sleep. Just put the damn ball on the green. He hits it in the trap. And
biggest choke. No. His biggest choke was 13.
Yes, that was 13. A bigger choke. But this one on 18 was pretty easy too. Now and this is where I give him credit. On the playoff, all right, this when somebody chokes, generally they can't get rid of it. It just keeps going on, like Greg Norman when he choked against Faldo.
Yep.
But so he's messed up the shot. He misses a short putt. He gets back on the tee at 18 and hits this incredible drive again. And now, here's what I asked the pros. I'll ask you, because they didn't ask him, and I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It's Trevor Immelman, I think. All right. He just had this shot. He gets the exact same shot. When you screwed up the last one, Don Beebe, do you want the same shot when you have a route where you drop the pass, not that you did, but somebody else might, and then you go back in the huddle, and they call this, you want the same play again to prove that you're way better than that what happened? Or is that the worst thing that could have happened for Rory in the situation for most people who are choking?
I think I heard him say in an interview somewhere that he wanted to get it the same shot. Okay. He wanted to get it similar because I think he's only 2 years apart difference. I think it was 2 years or 2 yards.
2 yards. Yeah, it was almost the identical shot.
Yep. And for me, I don't know if it would be the same route, but it would be throw me the ball mentality. Yeah, you want to get back on the horse. As a matter of fact, that's kind of a standard thing, and even in practice. Guy drops a ball, that quarterback and the wide receiver have a relationship that, let's get back on the horse here. Okay, but certainly in a game. I don't know if it would have to be the same route, never really thought of it that way, but I definitely want the ball thrown to me. No doubt.
Talking to Don Beebe, the original Rory McIlroy. That is, in the end, all he's remembered as is a winner. And Rory McIlroy, all those screw-up shots, many were incredibly horrific. They're all forgotten, right? He won.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I would say this, Homer. It gives you a greater appreciation for the Tiger Woods and the Michael Jordans and the Tom Bradys of the world that every time the game is on the line, it just seems they pull it out, and it's all mental. It's not a physical thing, really. It's more mental than anything else.
Explain. How do they do it? You lived it, a team that found a way to make the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and I don't know how many years you deserve to be there in a row. Only you can answer that.
Go ahead.
No. How do you do it? What?
It all starts with upbringing. It really does. I think in the house that you're brought up in, you remember Tiger's dad and the stories of how he used to train him to be mentally tough. I'm sure Michael's mom and dad were the same way, and Tom's mom and dad. I get asked quite often, why'd you run down Leon Lett? I ran him down because that's how my dad raised me. Never giving up was not an option. That's not a switch you could just turn on and off. It's just who you are. And I think when kids are raised, you got to raise them in an atmosphere of just never giving up.
When was the first time your dad? When was the first time? At what age do you remember your dad explaining how the Beebes do things?
Yeah, just around the dinner table.
6,
when I was
5,
a little boy,
10?
5, 6. Yeah,
wow.
5, 6, 7 years old. So, and the reason is just little things like this. You take you go, dish all that spaghetti in your plate, right? You sit down, you start eating as a family. I'm done. I got half my spaghetti left. No, you're finishing that spaghetti, son. You took it, you eat it. You ain't pushing it into the garbage. You're not feeding it to the dog under the table. You're going to finish it. I mean, it was just little things like that just embedded in me of you don't quit on something. You just keep going.
What's the longest you had to sit at the table to finish all the food?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, man. It's sometimes I would force it down, especially when it was lima beans or something, just nasty stuff. And I'm gonna go off the record here and say, I slid those things under the table every once in a while to our dog, and then he'd puke it up, and then I'd get in more trouble.
All right, that's honest. I appreciate that. Talking with Don Beebe, the original Rory McIlroy. From all the losses, all anybody remembers is the win. For Beebe, the Packers. For Rory McIlroy, it's the birdie on the playoff hole. All right, and just want to let you know, I only have an hour show, and I'm going to talk to you as long as you're willing to talk. So you're going to have to say I'm done, because other than that, I have enough stuff to ask you. Explain.
I got a steak waiting, so you got like 10 minutes.
All right, okay. We'll go to 5:30. All right. Can you explain the pressure? Everybody talks about it, but do you see it in the huddle? Or are some players feel the pressure more than others? What's the reality of it for someone who's lived it?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm just going to go back to what I just said. I think parents raising their kids start the whole process. Then coaches early in Pop Warner, or boys and girls, whatever sport they're playing, club ball. It's important for parents to make sure that the coach that's coaching them, it's hard on them, and teachers never give up and everything like this, but not degrading and making the kid feel like he can't perform or she can't perform. Okay. So it all starts there, to be honest with you. I did a lot of stuff with my kids, just training them and mental training as much as physically training them. And
see, it would have been tough if I was your kid, because I would have said to you, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be you.
Well, I didn't want him to be like me.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you. I didn't want him to be like me. You know how many football games me and Chad watched of my games in his whole life?
For those who don't know, explain who Chad is.
0. Chad's my son. I'm sorry.
And played in the NFL. Is he still playing or not?
No, he too many injuries, and he hung him up. Yeah. But, the thing about him is I want him to be competitive, because I think competitive is a gift. You got to be competitive.
Right.
Okay. But in the right way, a humble way. But you gotta teach a kid that it's okay to fail. I think so many kids that I've coached and trained through the years, I can tell right away when they just doing a drill with them, just seeing their reaction. That's why you just saw Gino, the UConn coach, okay, that just won his 12th. And I don't know if you saw his quote, but it was a powerful quote. Yeah, that's a powerful quote, because your reaction to failure tells you all I need to know as a recruiter or coach. And I'm the same way. If I see a kid hanging his head or anything of this, I'm not going to play him.
All right. Do you avoid a kid in high school that you see that, or do sometimes you think, you know what, I can change that or not.
No, I avoid it.
Wow.
I avoid it. Yeah, I do. I also avoid the other side of it, meaning he brings all the attention to himself after a big play, and it's all about him, and just character things, flaws that you see on game film. That's why I always want to interview the kid too and talk with them. But man, and just ask them very poignant questions, and it'll eventually come out, But yeah, so you see the flip side of both: very negative on himself, and he just feels like he can't perform, or he thinks he's got all the answers.
Talking with Don Beebe, the original Rory McIlroy. Yep, lost 4 straight Super Bowls, and then gets a ring with the Green Bay Packers. All the screw-ups by Rory McIlroy yesterday and even earlier in the week. No one has ever had 4 double bogeys and won the Masters. Nobody has ever had close to as many horrible shots. Doesn't matter. Those were his 4 losses in the Super Bowl. In the end, he wins, like Don Beebe did. All right, second quarter. Beebe, as nice as he is, has said only a half hour, Homer. ESPN Fantasy Focus Football Podcast coming to Green Bay on April 23rd. Are you going to be there for the draft, by the way?
I'm not. No, we're in spring ball.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, you are a Division III football coach at where again? Tell them.
Aurora University.
Right. And I've told anybody, if you want to play Division III football, you play for Don Beebe. You have a good chance to win a national title, and then all the other stuff he can tell you. Though, you haven't won one yet, right?
Not yet.
Now, there have been some other schools that all of a sudden have gotten really good. It used to just be Mount Union, and now there are others. There's like one in Chicago. Isn't somebody who's...
North Central is pretty good.
Yes.
They've won.
Who won it last year?
North Central.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yep. But you got, all the Wisconsin schools. The Wisconsin schools up there are the best conference. No question. They got 4 or 5 good teams that could win a national title in a given year. Whitewater, obviously, Platteville won it last year.
I think the last time I called you is because you put up almost 100 on somebody. What'd you put? 90. I know you went 90. Didn't you go 90 on somebody?
Okay. Can we explain this before you
we will.
Let
me do this. Okay. Then we'll let you explain. You're a little touchier now than I remembered you before. All right.
Yeah,
ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend up to Green Bay to see the show happen live. Right now, caller 4, 1-800-990-3776. 2 tickets to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football live at Tundra Trio. See the show up close, meet all the hosts, and get free food, free drinks, free Fantasy Focus Football podcast merchandise. I would have thought maybe you'd have a chance to meet Don Beebe, but go to one of his games. Caller 4, 1-800-990-3776. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for full details. Quarter 2 with Don Beebe, and he'll explain putting up 90 next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound on 43, backing up basically from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Southbound is backed up from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette, down past Chase. We've also got westbound 94 backing up out of the Marquette all the way to 35th Street, with the eastbound side backing up from 92nd Street all the way to Hawley Road. Watch yourself on southbound 894. We got delays south of Greenfield Avenue pretty much all the way down and around the Hale interchange to Forest Home. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, a few showers later on, a low of 38. Tomorrow, a few showers early, afternoon sun, breezy with a high of 50. Weather is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Oh, can't show you in there. Why not? That's the bathroom. We need a new shower bad.
Think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin? Upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luxstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has had business technology from James Imaging Systems for several years. Lori Salzman, Vice President of Enterprise Services, explains why.
We started with the document imaging, and I have to say that the service and support has been fantastic.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
I've never met an organization that is so responsive to make sure that we are up and running all the time for us to be more efficient and allow us to focus more on the work that we do for helping young people.
Lori, what's your recommendation to others that aren't getting that kind of attention from their business technology company?
Please call James Imaging because they will work with you to make sure that you find a solution that can make you more efficient and productive.
Make the call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Turn up the volume and turn up the flavor with Tequila Mi Campo. Tequila made for Wisconsin. Just like the excitement of draft day in Green Bay, Mi Campo delivers that same bold energy and anticipation with every sip. Mi Campo is crafted for utterly in-your-face flavor. Made with 100% Blue Weber agave. Aged in wine barrels for incredibly smooth taste. Ready for however you like to turn it up. Mi Campo. Live louder. Please enjoy responsibly. 2025 imported by Mi Campo Spirits, Canandaigua, New York. Tequila 40% alcohol by volume.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Don Beebe from the Green Bay Packers, and when Rory McIlroy turned garbage into a championship, no one remembers all the horrible shots he hit because they remember he's a champion of the Masters, just like Don Beebe. 4 losses. 4 straight years in the Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills. But how is he remembered? Champion with the Green Bay Packers, the original Rory McIlroy. And I would like to say this. Whenever anybody comes back from the dead in sports, it should be called a Rory. No one has ever performed as poorly as he did and ended up winning. And if I'm wrong, find me an example. It would have been like Brett Favre going 0 for 20 and a half and then ending up winning the Super Bowl. Or I've got to find out. Maybe Don Beebe can tell us the greatest Rory before yesterday, and then he'll get to how he scored 90 points on a team. Can you think of anything where someone
greatest comeback?
Well, or just performed so poorly and still bounced back to win?
Well, I mean, as a team, obviously I played in it. The greatest comeback against the Houston Oilers. we were down 35-3.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. We're down 28-3 at halftime. We come out, first drive, throw a pick 6, 35-3. Well, the stadium emptied. And then we land up coming back and winning it. So,
right. So that was the first. That was on the Rory list. All right. Excellent point.
Yeah.
And were you playing poorly or were the we
were awful.
Okay. All right. That fits.
Awful. Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't complete a pass. We couldn't run the football.
And that was necessary to get back and keep the streak going, right?
Yeah.
Was that in 3 or 4? Year 3 or 4? I can't remember.
My 3 or 4?
No.
You mean year 3, third
okay.
Super Bowl.
All right.
Yeah.
The original Rory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Rory. Don Beebe, the coach. And by the way, I didn't know this. I think we could pitch. You have never lost a conference game in how many years at our 2, 4, 6 years? You're 42-0 in conference?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I won't make any cheap comment about it. All right. Now, last year, 9-2, but I know you put up 90 on somebody, didn't you?
It was 2 years ago, Homer,
Okay,
but here, can you just hear me out now?
I will.
I'll talk. Okay, all right. First of all, it was an awful experience. That was not fun at all. Okay, at halftime, I actually let an assist. I called the plays. I'm the offensive coordinator as well. I didn't call play. With 9 minutes left in the second quarter was our last pass. Okay, and they kept kicking the ball, punting the ball to our punt returner who had 275 yards punt returning and 2 touchdowns and another one inside the 10. And they kept throwing the ball at the end, which that's fine. I have no problem with them throwing the ball, but what happens is they couldn't complete a pass. Okay, so it was chewing up no clock. And our third and fourth running backs had 4 touchdowns. I did everything I could not to score in that game. I'll be honest with you.
I will not mention 90 again. You explained it well.
Oh, did I take some heat for that one?
Now let's get to all the books because it would be unfair to talk about you without mentioning the books. And also, I want to get into your coaching philosophy and ask you, well, I'll ask you now, are kids different? Or is that just made up?
Actually, this may sound crazy. I think there was a stretch where they were, but I've seen just in the last 2 years, there's been a turn back towards higher character, meaning I'm seeing, especially on college campuses, I'm seeing kids that are tired of stuff. They want the truth, and they're searching for the truth. And I see them going in a better direction, to be honest with you. So, which is encouraging. Well, we got a roster full of great kids. Love them.
So, is that a faith-filled thing? I know it is for you. I've said to people, I've never heard so many college athletes from whatever the school after a game say, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, I want to thank Jesus Christ, or I want to thank God. It's almost, I don't want to say everyone, but have you ever seen a stretch like that? Is that what you're referring to a little bit or not?
I think that's a big part of it. Sure. I think there's a real spiritual movement going on. I mean, look at Ohio State. Look at Notre Dame.
The quarterback.
All these, crazy. I mean, well, I wouldn't say crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's phenomenal.
But it never was done before, ever. Like, I don't want to be the spiritual quarterback, and now it's like I don't care.
Yeah. No, I think that kids are fed up with it. I think they're tired of all the negative stuff that we read every single day, and they just want the truth. They're tired of people lying, and I'm talking about our government, okay, and everything that's in leadership roles. It's just a dog eat dog, and these kids, this Gen Z generation, I'm encouraged by it. I see a lot of great things and a lot of great kids, man, and it's really kind of it's an honor for me to be able to coach these guys right now because there's a lot of mature kids on our team right now.
Talking with Don Beebe, the original Rory McIlroy, and I'm going to make a Rory list because I think there's this, like, if the Titanic had come back from the bottom and then back up above the water, then that would have been the original Rory. That's how bad Rory played on some of his shots, given his ability. All right, let's get to the Green Bay Packers. State law requires, I know you're just about out of time. You got that steak or whatever you were talking about. So talk about the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, whatever you want to say. You now have 60 seconds to tell people whatever you want to tell them about your team, other than Aurora, the Green Bay Packers. Take it away.
Well, I like Jordan. I really do. I think that you go from Brett, you go from Aaron and Jordan. That's a lot of pressure put on him, and I think he's handled it well. I think we got to get some pieces around him, though. I just don't think we don't have enough playmakers around him, like Brett had and what Aaron had throughout the years. So, and defensively, we've talked about this many times. I think it was better, but we got to get better there too as well. And the last thing I'll throw in there, we need another guy like a Desmond Howard. Special teams guy that's a game-breaking person every time the ball's in his hands with a kick return or a punt return. That bodes very well in playoff runs and Super Bowls.
People may not remember how important he was.
Oh, man.
To the Super Bowl.
Incredible.
Right?
Oh, huge. Yeah, you're the Super Bowl MVP. He was pretty good.
Now, my
big
problem with
contract.
that is I would tell you, forget it, Don. It's that game's done. They've changed the rules. They don't want it. You can't have somebody. And, in fact, if they've moved it to 35, I'm still doing the same. I'm kicking the ball into the end zone every time, making the team bring it out to the 35. And, they say they want the kickoff, but it's just not the same. I think it's really hard to have special teams be as important as you want them to be. I think you're just old man wishing for the past. So what do you say?
No, I mean, that's a great point. It really is. So the Devin Hesters and the Desmond Howard guys, it's going to be tougher, but you can still do it punt returning. But they've eliminated kickoff. I mean, kickoff is a joke. I don't even know why they do it. They should just start at the 30, 35.
No, I can solve it for you. No, do it the way they do it. But if you kick it into the end zone, they get it at the 40. Yeah. You have to make
I'm
them.
fine with that too. Yeah.
And then there'll be some plays. There have been a few plays, but you have to make it so they never kick it in the end zone. And I think 35 is better, but I think they should have gone 40. Since you said I like Jordan Love, and I know I'm past my time, but this will be the last one, maybe. When you say I like Jordan Love, why?
I just like his demeanor. I like his leadership skills. He can throw. I mean, a kid can really throw it. I just think that he's got to get some guys around him. Okay, a good running game, which, who knows what that's going to happen there. But and some wideouts, some big play wideouts. I don't think there's enough of them. So I think if they get that around him, you got the quarterback. I really do. I think you got the quarterback that can win. We just got to get the pieces around the kid.
You're always.
I would say. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'd say you're always positive.
I would say the same thing in Buffalo.
Really?
Yeah, I would say the same thing in Buffalo. Absolutely. I mean, you got Josh Allen. I mean, MVP of the league. He needs more.
Well, and that's what I think. I think they're a lot closer, but you think they can even use?
Well, they do. I mean, they do have better skilled guys right now, and defense is better.
So are you saying, this will be my last, are you saying these teams need a Don Beebe, like Ron Wolf, as good as his team was, to win a Super Bowl? We got to get a Don Beebe, and they added a Don Beebe and won the Super Bowl.
I would say Don Beebe. I would say a Donald Driver, Robert Brooks, Freeman. You just go down the list. Sterling Sharp going all the way back.
I know, but with all those people, Ron Wolf still wanted to add you, right? He didn't have to.
Well, yeah. I mean, my job was to make sure the defense, stretch the defense.
Yeah.
Be it in Buffalo and be it in Green Bay, just stretch the defense so it opens things up, sure. But I'm talking about just they had Devontae. I mean, they should have never let him go. I mean, the guy was top 5 in the league. Now but make it work. That's all I got to say. Make it work so he doesn't go anywhere. You'd need a top level guy, a go-to guy like that. And right now, I don't think they have that.
All right. I've run out of time with Don Beebe, the original Rory McIlroy. Loser, 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 and then winner. That's not how he remembers it, but I think that's how people remember it. And so as Don Beebe, or as Brian Bulaga said after they won the first Super Bowl, You every year, he said, you chase that feeling. You chase that feeling that you had after you'd won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Do.
I like that phrase.
Absolutely.
It isn't. It's
no.
There's no way to describe.
Think that's why,
Go ahead.
Well, it's why we kept going back in Buffalo. We just kept chasing that feeling. I mean, that feeling that you just want more of it. I mean, we didn't accomplish it. Even in Green Bay when we won it. I mean, if you remember in the stadium after we won it in '96, they had in the big stadium, and me and Reggie and Eugene got up and spoke. Do you remember what I said?
I do not.
Had 63,000 people going, repeat, repeat, repeat. I mean, it was awesome.
It is.
And we repeated. Yeah, but that's got to be your mindset. I mean, we want to go again, man. Don't get complacent, man.
Yeah. All right. And lastly, the greatest thing you ever accomplished as an athlete, because Rory McIlroy said afterwards, he said, "This is my greatest day as a golfer." What was your greatest day as a football player?
Wow. Well, I'm going to give you two things.
All right.
My greatest feeling I ever had, the most exhilarating I've ever felt on a football field, was the first pass that ever went my way in the Astrodome against the Oilers, my rookie year. First pass that ever went my way was a 63-yard bomb against Chris Dishman, touchdown. I mean, that I didn't
The
know how to
first
react.
pass that went your way, you caught a touchdown?
First pass that ever went my way was a 63-yard bomb. Yeah. So that was the most exhilarating moment because it was what a way to break in, right? However, the greatest game and the greatest feeling after the game was over, there's two of them. One, I scored 4 touchdowns against the Steelers in 92, and then 49er game on Monday night in the Pack. And I remember Lynn Swan coming up to me at the end of the game. I had no idea. He goes, Beebe, Beebe, Beebe. You know, and he's obviously the sideline guy for whoever was doing the game, ABC, whatever it was. And he goes, do you know what you did tonight? I said, yeah, we won. No, he goes, no, do you know you did? I said, no, I have no idea. What did you do? He goes, you had 220 yards, most ever done on Lambeau Field. I said, really? 220? I had no idea until Lynn told me. So it was a pretty cool feeling, you know, and then the way we won it with Chris making a kick and incredible. I mean, it was just a credible moment for me.
I hate to tell you you're wrong, but you're wrong. The greatest thing that Don Beebe ever did was the scouting combine set the record for the 40-yard dash, tied that same year by someone named Deion Sanders, who decided to run it in his street clothes. And that's all you need to know about how fast Deion Sanders was and how fast Don Beebe was. And the two of you held the record for, 20 years?
I think it was 19.
All right,
but
19.
You're forgetting one caveat to this now. I ran mine in a flopping fishing shoe from high school.
Excellent point.
So, my right sole, half of it was unglued. So when I ran, it flopped.
You had nobody providing shoes for you. You wore the same shoes that you wore fishing.
That's true. I had no agent.
So
didn't know what an agent was.
All right. Given that you had regular shoes and that Deion Sanders had not been in street clothes.
I have no idea.
Who would have won?
I'm not going to answer that question.
You're not going to answer.
I have no idea. I have no
Tied with Deion Sanders for 19 years, the fastest time ever in the 40-yard dash. You're too much of a team guy. All right, so the books, Don Beebe, and if you're a college football player, Division III, you can't play any place better than playing for him in Aurora. Sorry I say so much other crazy stuff. People don't think that seriously, but it's a pleasure to talk to you, and we will do it again. I look forward. Don Beebe and his wife, who he gives much of his credit for his faith, will be doing a My Faith with Homer and Pippet sometime, the first couple to ever do it. So I look forward to that, and I hope you did agree to that, because I just said you did.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing it. You kidding me?
All right, we're ready.
Love it.
All right,
man.
The greatest ever at Chadron State. Most of you don't even know where that was. All right, thanks, Don.
All right, see you, Homer.
Third
Bye-bye.
quarter. I wanted him the whole hour, but that tells you how it works. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94, got a little pocket of heavy traffic past Brookfield Road, and then again from the zoo all the way to Holly Road, and then coming out of the stadium interchange to 27th. Westbound is tight out of the Marquette all the way to 35th. Southbound 43, watch for delays from before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way down to the KK River. Northbound is backing up from just before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Keefe. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy skies, breezy, a few showers later on, a low of 38. Tomorrow, a few snow showers early, afternoon sun, breezy with a high of 50. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
According to American writer H.L. Mencken, a well-stocked bar can create over 17 billion different cocktails. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. I don't know if 17 billion is accurate or not, but I do know that Discount Liquor is the place to find everything you need to be well-stocked for any occasion. Discount Liquor is Wisconsin's home to over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines. Our unparalleled selection is rivaled only by our incredible savings and everyday low prices. And we know how to take care of our customers, no matter the occasion. In fact, Discount Liquor has won numerous national and local awards. Visit Discount Liquor at our Milwaukee or Waukesha locations. Family owned and operated since 1960.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. Check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
One 800-990-3776. The Carvelous Talk and Text line lists more. I will spend, other than hearing what you wish to add, all my brilliant comments on Twitter because so many things weren't said appropriately yesterday. No one. This was, I think, the first one of the day. Let me see. First one of the day. 9 hours ago. No one ever has hit as many bad shots as Rory and still won. He had all the signs of being Greg Norman II, but responded after horrible shots with great shots and did it more than once. Pulling off a Rory will have nothing to do with him or golf. The Titanic needed a Rory. Yes, I'm trying to start a list of Rorys in which somebody performs so pathetic, below their norm, and then still finds a way to win. And that's a Rory. Don Beebe suggested the playoff win, which was the Buffalo Bills over, I don't know how far they were. I remember who it was. Who was it?
It was the Houston Oilers.
Houston Oilers.
Yeah, they're down 35
Yeah,
to 3,
and
43.
in order to qualify it, you have to say that you're playing horribly. It's too bad Johnny Miller wasn't doing it, because if Johnny Miller had been doing it, he probably said it on his own on the shot on 13. I think I'm right. 13. That was the greatest choke job in the history of professional golf. And that's important to mention because it speaks to how incredible it is that he responded the way he did after how many horrible shots. Missed many putts he should have made, but those weren't really, to me, a choke because he's missed those before. But the shot on 13 and then on 18 from 125 yards away. An average player can put that shot on the green. Hit it in the trap, then had a decent sand shot, and then missed the putt. But the level of how bad those shots were, nobody doing the match was willing to admit. Other than if you go back and hear their quotes on 13, nobody had any way to describe it. They couldn't They couldn't believe what they saw. It was arguably the worst shot ever in the pressure situation like that. But no one, unless you can give me another Rory, ever comes back. When you lose it like that and choke, generally, as Greg Norman did, you can't all of a sudden hit these incredible shots, as he did, multiple. So we now have the definition of a Rory. Pathetic, choking, but forgotten, because in the end, you did greatness after the choking, which is almost never done, because when you choke, you lose it. There's no way for anybody to explain what he did, because I'm not sure individually it's ever been done before. If it is, then pass it along. 1-800-990-3776. Let's see. Live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It's all on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. It used to be Wisconsin On Demand. Now it's ESPN Wisconsin. Makes sense. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keep up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores. I had Wisconsin On Demand, and it automatically changed. So, ESPN Wisconsin app. Time, that's right, half hour from Franklin, 38 minutes if you want to be exact. American Place Casino, yes, located in Lake County, Illinois. Yes, great table games. Yes, great slot machines. Yes, great sports book, great food. Have all these deals. You go to AmericanPlace.com. Play 500 on us promotion. Again, AmericanPlace.com. That's not what I specialize in. You think of American Place Casino, from me, you think a half hour south of Franklin. Just a half hour south of Franklin. Did I ever tell you American Place Casino? Just a half hour south of Franklin. 38 minutes if you want to be a pest. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. Brewers baseball is the sound of summer in Milwaukee. And now you can catch the Brewers on local TV for select Tuesday night games.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she
It's
goes.
Brew Crew Tuesdays. On April 15th, the Crew take on the Detroit Tigers at 6:40 p.m.
Half swing, he went. Another strikeout for Freddie
This
Peralta.
Brew Crew Tuesday is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. See the action on Fox 6 in Milwaukee and check your local listings for where you can watch over the air statewide on April 15th.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
Rory wins the Masters.
So great.
Or did he lose the Masters and then win the Masters and then lose the Masters and then win the Masters?
Yes.
Between double bogeys, ball and water, missed putts, in the sand, playoff with Justin Rose, who was sitting there for a while, who was 6 down at one point. That was the most ridiculous final round of any golf tournament, maybe ever.
But isn't it fitting that that's the way he won it, that that's the way he completed the career Grand Slam? Because this was an 11-year drought. This was pressure that had been on his shoulders for quite some time. You thought he was going to lose it. You mentioned the double bogeys. That one on 13, I thought for sure that was going to be it for him. And it just felt fitting that when Rory McIlroy finally arrived at this point that had been looming for so long, that he took the long way to get there.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
The Brian Bulaga Homer Hour. He's on assignment. Don Beebe was filling in. The original Rory McIlroy. Loser. 4 straight Super Bowls in Buffalo. But in the end, a winner with the Packers. So how's he remembered as a winner? Rory McIlroy literally performed the worst ever by a superstar golfer. His worst holes, his worst shots ever. All be forgotten. Because in the end, he won. And now I'm trying to make a list of Rorys. When somebody wins after performing and choking at a level that Rory McIlroy did, which, again, understandably is forgotten because of even more incredible than that was his respond and the level of the shots. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. I love talking about it because they're that good, and you'll like me. Family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They've been doing it so long. By the time they do it for you, it's easy. That's why expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Yes, family business, generation after generation, they're still doing it and doing it well. On Forest Home in Franklin, everybody needs an auto body place. They do it so well. It's taken care of. You got your auto body place forever. Your kids do as well. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco. The other thing I need to tell you that they didn't talk about, this whole discussion about winning the 4 majors is way, way overstated. It's just not that big a deal. They're making it a big deal. It's not a big deal. Nobody talks about it. I love the Golf Channel and the people they have on. Afterwards, they had Jack Nicklaus on, and they asked him. He said, "I never thought about it once," which kind of destroyed all the discussion because they've talked about how big a deal this is, which, of course, it isn't. It's how many majors you win. The PGA is probably the least important, but it's about how many you win. The Grand Slam, winning all 4, it means nothing. Didn't mean anything. And again, when Jack Nicklaus said that, nobody knew what to say because they've made this such a big deal. I never thought about it once. Never thought about it once. The greatest winner ever. Never thought about it once. What's your follow-up question to that? Well, maybe. What was a big deal was that he had not won any major in more than a decade. Rory McIlroy at a young age, 24, 25, was like the next Tiger. He had won no major. If he had won other majors, but just not the Masters, it'd have been a different story. He had not won a major in more than a decade. To win any major was a huge deal. That's the pressure. And it was the Masters, which is considered among the best by some. Other Britons sometimes pick the Open. Other Americans think the U.S. Open. One of those 3 it can be. But he hadn't won a major, any major, in more than a decade. If he had won 3 or 4, but none had been the Masters, then this whole concept about winning the Grand Slam, nothing other than the amazing part of Rory. I can't think of anything that's been overstated as greatly as the Grand Slam is. It means almost nothing. You know who it means almost nothing to? The players. They don't talk about it. Jack Nicklaus never thought about it once. How long did he play? Now, you win the Grand Slam, and you win 4 in a row, or the Tiger Grand Slam when he won 4 in a row, but it wasn't in 1 year, then you're talking about something. Tennis the same way. I think Andre Agassi actually has won all 4 of the majors. In tennis, maybe a little bit more because the surfaces were different. It meant you could win on clay and whatever. But how many majors? Jack Nicklaus. They didn't even tell you this. Jack Nicklaus won this Grand Slam 3 times. He won every major 3 times. So the greatness of Rory McIlroy is the way he did it, and that he won the Masters, and that he hadn't won a major, any major, in 11 years. That, to me, is assuming the pressure that he felt. Maybe he felt it to win the Grand Slam, but if he did, he got bad advice. Your state, your teams, your ESPN, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Download the app today for your chance at an all-inclusive private tailgating experience during day 3 of the draft in Green Bay. Open up the ESPN Wisconsin app. Check out the contest tab and register for your chance to win. It's no longer WisconsinOnDemand.com. It's ESPN Wisconsin app. And I would emphasize, for those going to look at me, just listen to Jack Nicklaus. Just listen to what he said after the Masters on the Golf Channel. They brought him on to talk about it. Hey, he won the Grand Slam. Never thought about it once. Winning the Masters, of course. Don't know of Rory, but for many, it's the greatest major. And I emphasize, the pressure he felt was not winning the Grand Slam. The pressure was a player of his historical magnitude when he was very young, had not won any major in 11 years. And no, he's not the greatest European player. Nick Faldo has 6 majors. Nick Faldo's above him. And in terms of the greatest of his generation, Koepka has the same number of majors that he has. The Grand Slam, if I say it means nothing, that would be unfair. But it means so much less than they emphasize it. The pressure was. I don't know how long. I'll have to check to see how many players have gone 11 years between majors. And what's the most anybody's won who's gone that long? To have gone that long and finally did it. That's what was special. And I'm sure that had to be the pressure he felt and should have felt. 11 years? 11? Just, you can say I'm wrong. Try to say Jack Nicklaus is wrong. National ESPN. Thanks to Don Beebe. ESPN Wisconsin app, no longer Wisconsin On Demand. Next.
Northbound on 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. We've got westbound 94 a bit heavy.